So I've got this NAPA U.S.A. NS66. It's made in the USA. Ratchet, 1/2-inch drive, chrome finish. It's kind of a nice heavy pear-shaped head. And when I first got this, I noticed there were some things about it that looked familiar. So I'm going to disassemble it. We'll give it a good inspection and maybe compare to something that I think looks very, very similar, maybe even interchangeable. On both sides you can see kind of this reddish pink residue. It's probably a Permatex like engine assembly lube, sometimes referred to as RLL or the red lube of love for kind of tool nerds. But let's take it apart. Let's see what it looks like inside. All right, let's see. Can I? All right, I think I got it. So got that retaining ring, which holds this cover plate. Looks very familiar. Pull out the anvil and ring gear, drive gear, and on the back it's got this quick release button. You can see when I push on that, the little ball detent drops away. And inside the ratchet looks pretty clean. We'll clean it out a little further. You can see the pawl. Let me see if I can get this other side, the switch, to come off. Kind of a little greasier on this side. There's your switch and the retaining ring there. And then you can see the pawl. And this pawl, again, looks very familiar. Push it out from this side. Got the ball. And then I'm going to need a pick to pull that spring out. Clean off these parts. It's your very traditional looking kind of bat wing pawl with 2 teeth. Now the interesting thing is everything you see here, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 6 of those parts look exactly like the inside of a very common Craftsman ratchet. It looks like this. This is the ratchet I actually disassembled, replaced a couple internal parts on, and then lubed and reassembled a couple months ago. And you know, when I saw this NAPA ratchet, I quickly recognized that this cover plate looks like a Craftsman cover plate. This pawl, I can pull out a Craftsman pawl. Looks like it's the exact same piece. All of these pieces are the same. I think this is going to be the same exact anvil and ring gear. I think these are 32 teeth. So kind of interesting. I think that, you know, the Craftsman stuff of this era was probably made by EASCO, you know, eventually became Danaher, and, you know, quite certain that this ratchet would have been made around the same time or same time frame. You know, the body's different, but the internals are all the same pieces. The only piece that's different is this switch. Now it uses the same little protrusion that fits into the pawl, but it is a different design technically. On your Craftsman style, it would have been this switch on the right. I mean, they're essentially the same. Like, so I would say these pieces are probably interchangeable, but the same thing goes for, you know, I've got some spare parts here. This is an anvil and ring gear from one of the other Craftsman ratchets I've taken apart. It's the exact same piece. I've got another cover plate from another Craftsman ratchet. This is different color, but it's the same piece. So just kind of interesting, all of these pieces. This is another pawl out of a Craftsman ratchet. You know, these things are definitely interchangeable at the least, but honestly they are the same parts, aside from the switch and the body. Okay, so to get the rest of this dried oil or grease out of there, I'm going to just try a little bit of acetone on a Q-tip. Typically, you know, this oil is fine on these. Even in some of the Craftsman ratchets of this era had like an oil port. I like for a more coarse tooth ratchet like this just to use a little bit of like super lube, you know, synthetic grease. But either way, you should be fine. Dog says hello. All right, let's see if we can stick this thing back together. I've got the ball bearing. Try and get that in position on the spring. And then the trick is to hold that in place, kind of depress it into the hole, and hold it with a small screwdriver. We drop the pawl, not drop it like I just did, but drop it into position. All right, so I think that pawl is in place. All right, so next thing we're going to do is try and put this switch back on. To do that, we'll get the ring centered in that groove. Because of the position of the pawl, I'm going to try and align the switch in the same direction and then compress the spring kind of off center down here. There, I think we got it. Okay, hope you could see that. You know, keeping that aligned and having that little ring off center so that I could fit it down into this cutout. So put a little more lube around the ring gear and a little bit more inside the body of the ratchet. Just kind of manipulate this switch till I can get it to slide all the way in. Testing the switch. Got the quick release sticking out, so that's in position. Sometimes it's just setting yourself up with these pliers in the right position to be successful. I'm going to lift up the wrench so I can make sure that this goes all the way down. There, it's snapped in. Back in one piece. Sounds good. Hope that helped you. If you come across one of these for a good deal, it's not a bad ratchet. It's essentially the same as that nearly ubiquitous Craftsman 44985. If you have one of these and you needed to rebuild it, you know you can get parts. If you had to take them from an old Craftsman ratchet to rebuild one of these, or vice versa, I mean, most of these parts are fully interchangeable. It's just the body and this switch that are different. So there you have it. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks.